All right, I'm Andy, and I am here with Ron Hare, former coach of the Hancock Panthers High School football team. All things aside, Ron, how are you today?
I'm doing okay, day by day.
Good, good. Well, first, let me just say, sorry what happened to you happened. We're gonna get into that here shortly, and I just want to let you know, just like everybody else, I am also on your side of things. It stinks what happened. It stinks what happened, and you don't never like to see that kind of thing. But yeah, you got a lot of people supporting you and backing you, so I know you know that, but we here do
Correct.
too.
Yes.
So
Appreciate that.
just to kind of give everybody a kind of a rundown of what's going, and then we'll let you get into the story. Recently, just last week before the playoffs began, seeding, really, honestly, the seeding began. It was during the last game of the Panthers football season going to Clear Spring. You had found out that the administration decided to pull the football team from the playoffs because they didn't feel the players were good enough to compete. And they
Correct.
told you guys right before the last game. Kind of run through that. Let us know everything that happened. Give us the full story. And yeah, just what was the rundown? How did everything go about?
So I get a text message from the athletic director asking me and one of my assistants, Todd Rubenthal, to come into his office before the game. He wanted to talk to us, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just something about the game, or because it's their Clear Spring senior night, so maybe he was trying to clean some things up. So in the meantime, I'm sitting there talking to my assistant coach. I'll try not to say too many names. I apologize. But we were just talking, and he said, hey, I'm really scared that we're going to play Allegheny, and the seniors are going to bail, and then the kids are going to get hurt. And I'm like, it's football. Please stop thinking that. Nobody's bailing. These kids have been dying for this situation. They are wanting it so bad. That's all they've talked about for like 3 weeks. So anyway, so we get our call. We go into the office, and I'm standing there, and the athletic director looks at me and says, the principal and I do not think it's best for you guys to participate in the playoffs, as we don't think you're good enough and deserving enough to actually be in the playoffs. And that cut right through me right away. Okay. I never tell a kid straight up like that, they're not good enough. Don't.
Right.
That's horrible to me, and I thought that was a disgrace, and I told him it was. And he's like, well, we're just looking out for the injuries and this and that. And I told him, I said, it's football, okay? The kids, the parents, they know what they're coming into, okay? And we teach the best way we can to try to avoid injury, but part of any sports, actually, and to say that, you're worried about injuries, just, I don't know. But the first part, I couldn't handle it, So we went back and forth, and I finally looked at it and said, okay, I'm just going to ask, is this a final decision? And he said, yes, it is. It's a done deal. So I took my keys and my badge off, and I dropped them on the table. I said, I'm done. I said, what you just did is wrong to these kids in so many levels. I said, it's a disgrace that you said they're not good enough, and it's a disgrace not letting them play. They want to play. If they didn't want to play, the kids would say, Coach, we're scared, we don't want to play. And there was none of that.
Yeah.
So I went down the hallway, looked at the kids, because I'm not going to let them hanging. They'll be like, oh, my gosh, where's Coach? He's not on the bus, or this or that.
Right.
So I go down and I tell them, I said, guys, I'm taking a stand for you guys because this administration said that we're not deserving to be in the playoffs. I said, I'm sorry, I can't coach for a school that thinks that about you. I'm sorry I'm stepping away, but I wish you guys the best of luck tonight. Please go out and fight for each other. So I left, and then I get a call maybe 5 minutes later, and it's the athletic director, and he's saying, you are not, because it's an away game. We were one. He told us this, the information. So
Yeah.
I'm getting this call, and he says, listen, do not go near these kids. Do not talk to them. Do not coach them. Do not even go to the game. And I said, you can't stop me from going to the game. I'm going to be a paying fan, and I'm going to watch the kids in their last game since you're taking the playoffs from them. And he said, do not talk to any kid. I'm like, not a problem. I get to the stadium, paid my money. My wife paid. I changed clothes so that I wouldn't distract the kids. You know what I mean? I hoping they wouldn't see me. So I go up in the stand, and I'm sitting by myself, just watching the game, and it's not not even 5 minutes in, here comes the principal who never goes to away games, ever. Comes over, looks at me and says, "You need to leave." And I looked at her, I'm like, "What'd I do?" She goes, "I'll just go get the
Right.
cops." I said, "Wait a minute, again, what did I do to deserve this?" And
Yeah.
she starts walking away, and I asked her again, and by this time the parents knew what was going on, and they started hollering and hooting and hollering at her. And I looked at my wife, I said, "This is going to distract from the kids. We're going to leave, and we're going to fight this battle another day." So
Yeah.
we try to walk out, and the parents are trying to stop me, and they're like, "What is she doing?" I said, "She's asked me to leave. I'm going to leave. I'll fight it another day. Please focus on your kids." And any parent will tell you that's what I said as I was leaving.
Yeah.
So I'm getting escorted out, and to me, it's public humiliation. It's embarrassment because I did nothing wrong. I was just supporting the kids. Didn't talk to a single kid. Didn't acknowledge them. You know what I mean? I tried to stay away from them. And so nonetheless, we were walked out, and we get to the top. And I looked at the cop. I said, "Listen, I'm going to stop here and talk to this gentleman. Bo Myers is his name. He's an ex-principal. He was the staff member that night for the game."
Hmm.
And I said, "So you don't have to worry. I'm not going to hurt anybody." You know, I mean, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the parents grabbed me, and two dads stopped me and said, "You're not leaving, that she is." And I said, No. Focus on the kids, please. You know, we'll fight this battle another day. So I talked to Bo Myers. I'm like, "I don't understand. You're the event staff here. Why am I getting put out of here?" And he says, "I don't agree with it." He said, "But unfortunately, she requested you be put out." I said, "Okay, but I don't understand. I did nothing wrong except for sit there." He goes, "I understand that." And he told me how to handle it, you know, what I needed to do. So he was
Yeah.
even in disagreement with it. But I left. I mean, I left the field, and I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the kids. And I knew their heads weren't in it anyway. So, you know, they got beat.
Yeah.
But my thing is, you know, the superintendent tells me in an email that I really should reflect on my decision to step down and my decision to tell the kids. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. If I don't step down and I don't fight for these kids and say I just put what you just told me in my pocket, that you basically just said my kids stink, I put it in my pocket and go catch the game, okay? Say I go coach it, and let's say we beat Clear Spring, we beat them. Then I got to get on the bus, look at these kids, and say, "Hey, great win, but we're not doing the playoffs because the athletic director and the principal said no." Now I just lost all respect of the players, in my opinion. And I would have.
Yeah.
They'd have been like, "Coach, how long have you known that? You've known that the whole time? You're just not telling us?" So it was a timing thing. It was just the whole situation, in my opinion, was handled wrong. Those kids deserved to play football, you know. So basically, that in a nutshell is what happened. And it's so unfortunate that they had to handle it that way. They could have waited till we got back to the school. Even the
Right.
parents were there at the school, you know, they were like, all the parents were there just upset, in arms. And the athletic director wouldn't even come out the door and talk to him. You know, instead he got on his phone. I don't know who he was calling, no clue. But, and then we get a crappy email, I don't, but the parents do, about we were looking out for safety of the kids for winter sports. And I'm thinking, that's just, what? Then in basketball, shut them down halfway because you don't want them hurt for baseball, you know? Baseball,
Yeah.
shut them down halfway. You don't want them hurt for football. So it was just a horrible email. And it was just, I know it was a CYA. I get that.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, when a kid signs up for football, the parent, the kid, they know what they're getting into. They know the risks involved. They know their safety could be at jeopardy. It's not really a valid excuse to drop them from the playoffs. It would have almost been better if they would have just said, "We just don't want you going to the playoffs." Just say that.
Bingo.
And I mean, that's happened in years past. Did you have any say in years past about not doing the playoffs for the Panthers, or was that a decision that didn't involve you as well?
No, actually, I did have a say, and that's what really upset me is I had no say this time, and this team's 100 times better than what we've been in the past. And last year we had the one win, and I talked to the athletic director. I said, "Hey, you know, playoffs, we're thinking about playoffs and this and that." You know, and he's like, "Do we really want to do that?" You know, because we're still growing. I thought maybe we were ready. And we came to an agreement. Hey, if we can't beat Clear Spring the last game, let's not do it. I said, okay, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. We'll wait another year. And that was the agreement. But this year, nothing. I mean, we got 3 wins. The kids are improving. We played, like I told you before, we played Valley Wetzel. We played Northern Garrett. And that's who we was going to play, by the way, is Northern Garrett, I believe. Them or Clear Spring in the playoffs. So it just made 0 sense. I mean, we played some big teams, seed. So.
Yeah, we just talked
To
about
me,
in our last time how much you guys have gotten better and your senior leadership on the team, and a lot of factors that have changed over the past couple of years for the better of the team. How did any of the players? I mean, I know they were upset, and obviously it affected them for the game. But did any of them take the news rougher than others?
Yeah, the seniors did. I actually got to see a couple of them the next day because we were going to Shepherd University. They were going to meet Coach McCook and look into the college and different things. Maybe talk about walking on. I also had a sophomore with me, Jayton McCarty, who's probably one of the best sophomores in this county, if you ask my opinion. But, and they expressed how upset they were about it, and they felt cheated. They felt wronged. They're like, why weren't we asked? I mean, why does our opinion not matter?
Yeah.
I even had Jayton McCarty even sent me a letter, stating how he felt about everything and how upset he is about it. And I just think these kids deserve better. You got, adults that made a decision that I understand what position you are in the school, but you made a decision for kids that the parents should have a say. Their head coach should have a say. But at the end of the day, we find out that it's the assistant coach who's related to the principal is pulling the strings, so that's just, and that came to mind after I'm like, wait a minute, the conversation the AD just had is the same one he just had with me in the locker room about worrying about playing Allegheny, which we weren't going to play anyway. And even so, who cares? Play Allegheny,
Yeah.
But the thing is 2 weeks before that, when we were talking about the homecoming that we got the forfeit, the athletic director at that time, he's like, hey, this is going to change our standings for playoffs. I'm like, yes. He goes, do you really want this forfeit? It might make you end up playing someone like Mountain Ridge. I said, listen, you want to get as far away from Fort Hill as you can. This is before everything happened to them. I said, so yes, let's take this forfeit, and then we're going to play a Clear Spring or Mountain Ridge or a Northern Garrett. And he agreed. So 2 weeks heading in, we all thought it was playoffs, and the kids were just excited. And then that bombshell, an hour before the game is just horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. And I know there's a board meeting on the 19th, and I can tell you probably the whole town's going to be there. They're upset.
And
they're very upset about it.
And they should be there. I think a lot of people err on your side, and I for one agree with you. I think you made the right move, resigning and stepping down. I think, like you said, that kind of keeps your relationship with your players healthy. Just
right.
Like you said, for future college endeavors they may do, you still have those relationships, so you may be able to help them get some doors open that way.
Absolutely.
Just because you're not their coach anymore right now doesn't mean you still can't help them out in other aspects. So
that's funny you said that, because I actually got a call from the I'm trying not to go too deep, but the human resource from the Board of Ed, and told me, I sent a message out. I use what's called a Remind app, okay? And I sent a message out saying, hey, guys, I said, I'm always here for you guys. If you ever need anything, you know how to reach me, okay? And I wanted that message to get through, and then I was going to shut down the site after a couple of days, so they all got it. I get a call from Human Resources saying, hey, we got a complaint. You're not allowed to talk to these kids. I said, would you just seriously say that again? He goes, we had a parent complaint. So there is obviously one parent up there that, whatever. And that's fine. You're allowed your opinion. That's great about this country, is your opinion counts. Right. But tell me I can't talk to these kids is insane, because their parents are all over Facebook calling the board saying, you can't tell him not to talk to my kids. My kids look up to him. They love him. They're going to call him anytime they want. So to me, that was just another bad move on their part to tell me, walk away from kids and don't look and talk to them. That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's almost like it's their putting more gasoline on the fire than there needs to be. It kind of, in my opinion, when you resign like that and you walk away, that's the end. Nothing
Right.
more needs to be done or said, which you didn't do. You didn't do anything
Right.
except go to a public high school game, and you were a spectator. It's not like you came to the game and you tried to get on the field or you tried to
Uh,
ride the bus with the kids or anything like that. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's crazy. I couldn't believe it
it
when I
is.
read it because we had just talked like the week before and we talked about playoffs and I felt horrible when I read the news. But yeah,
Yep.
I'm on your side and as are a lot of other people.
Appreciate it.
So